San Antonio! Welcome to All Things San Antonio podcast with your host,
Ken Carter, and your other host,
Brad Burns.
Switch it up again on
We're
you guys.
switching up a little bit today. So today...
We should have switched seats to this one.
We should have.
Bit of all changed up.
Yeah. But today we're rolling into... We always talk about all the great things about San Antonio and things that we like, don't like, things like that. But we're going to dive in today about what do the people of Reddit say about San Antonio.
It's going to be a short podcast because there can't be much bad about San Antonio.
Or it might be 3 hours. We'll see. So somebody recently posted, what are the negatives to living in San Antonio? They said, everything I've seen about living in San Antonio is positive, affordable, clean, safe, great community, etc. I haven't seen any negatives, so I'm curious, are there any? And for reference, they're in their 20s, perfectly fine with the hot weather. So we're going to roll in to see some of these people's responses and kind of just dive in on those responses.
Before we do that, you're in someone in their 20s. What do you think? Because you're in your 30s now. I'm in my early 50s. What do you think are some of the positives that you could see? Like if you could go back in time, you're not married, all this, you're just a young stud, making some money, having a good time in San Antonio. What do you think are some of the positives of San Antonio in that regard?
I think San Antonio's really grown a lot as far as like things to do for people in that age bracket compared to what it was when I was younger. Because it seems like when I was younger, all we did was like go to clubs and get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more things to do, like becoming a foodie and doing things like that. Like, yeah, we had that stuff back then, but I don't think it was ever as in-depth as it is now. And I think social media kind of helps push that.
And the availability of restaurants. We didn't have the restaurants before to be a foodie in San
For
Antonio,
sure.
to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I knew all the dollar menu spots. So I was a dollar menu foodie.
Man, five Arby's roast beef sandwiches for $5 back in the day.
Yeah.
It was the best.
So we're going to go into the first negative from Spinach Pretzel.
Spinach Pretzel.
578. So their first negative about San Antonio was highway mattresses. And then Mags89 says a little bit below that, adding highway ladders to the list.
I can't tell you how many times my friend has called me and said, dude, you will not believe what I just got on the side of the road. He picked up stuff that a brand new ladder or some sort of tool that's on the side of 1604, and he's the first guy to pick it up and everything.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of stuff fall off of trucks.
So I think this is especially funny, highway mattresses, because when I was, I guess, 17 or 18, I don't know, I was still in high school. My girlfriend at the time's sister was at UTSA, go Roadrunners, and she was in the Chase Hill Apartments back when they were first opened up and everything like that. And I went over there with her parents and stuff, and we were bringing a mattress back, and they had loaded up everything, and I had this big old, I don't know if people know what a 1984 Buick Regal looks like, but it's boats. It is a boat. And so we're just tying the mattress to the top, and they tasked this 17-year-old dumb kid to go pick up some rope, and they didn't check it. I just tied everything up, and I picked up twine, and we left a mattress on the side of 1604 that day. It broke right off and went flying off.
Yeah, I've seen people driving with the mattresses flopped up, and I've probably driven with the mattresses flopped up. I'm not going to lie.
It's funny. All the times that you move when you're a kid and stuff like that, when you're going from apartment to apartment, working those 6-month leases.
Yeah.
So you can buy a house.
So, yep, stuff on the highway, stuff falling off. Don't forget
everyone's drug addict T.O.'s brush piles all over 90 because he only made enough to score. Oh, my God.
Not enough to pay to dump it.
I don't think, maybe that's their uncle, not their T.O.
Yeah, I don't think that's everybody's Theo. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So the next one says...
But just think about it. You can pick up an entire bedroom set on a 10-mile stretch of I-10.
Oh, that's hilarious. I can either confirm or deny that, but I've seen some crazy stuff on the highway. I've just never been brave enough to stop and pick it up.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm going somewhere in traffic and...
I just, as a safety precaution to anybody, don't stop and pick up anything on the side of the road.
And if you do, We don't recommend it, just for clarification.
Yeah. We're not in the...
So the next one says, my only issue is drivers stopping at a yield sign while merging. It's more like move with caution, not completely stop.
I agree with that one.
You know how many times when I was younger, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I stopped at the flashing red light waiting for it to turn green?
I stop at stop signs still to this day, and like I'm lost in some podcast. I'm listening to a podcast or something like that. But that one right there, like that one irritates me, especially because it happens also where there's their own lane. Right, not too far. We're right here at Santerra. If you go down Santerra to 281, and then you go to get 281 South, that little entrance to get onto the access road, it has its own lane for like 1,000 yards to then merge in, and people stop right there and don't keep moving forward. It's like, so yeah, that's a bit. Drivers in San Antonio. This is someone who's been rear-ended a few times and everything. So I'm like,
but we're not as bad as Houston. We're not as bad as Houston drivers.
We just have less traffic. I'm not going to say we're not as bad. I'm not going to say that of all the great things about San Antonio, I'm not going to sit here and say we have the best drivers.
But we're better than Houston. I'll say that. When I go to Houston, I have to they talk about defensive driving.
Dude, I
have to start aggressive driving just to keep up.
Dude, I was literally on a ramp, like traffic stop, get rear-ended. And then while I'm looking for a new car, I'm at a stop sign and I get rear-ended again. This is in San Antonio. The San Antonio drivers are horrible.
People are just attracted to your butt, Ken.
So
deleted user said, this is a funny one. So everybody knows San Antonio is hot and humid.
Dude.
And what they said was you'll have ball sack / tit sweat by 7:30 a.m.
When I play golf, I will send pictures, like, not a ball sack sweat, but like I get the worst under boob sweat in the world. Like I get a ring of sweat right here, and like I send it to my daughters all the time. It's like, here we go, we got full under boob sweat going on. Yeah, so, that's a thing. Yeah,
so I mean, any crevice of your body is going to be sweaty, not limited to those two areas.
It's just it gets hot. You
know what my favorite thing is about the heat?
What's that?
I like getting into the car after the car's just been sitting baking in the sun all day. Like in the afternoon, getting in there, you get in there, like your body starts tingling.
Not so much in the car because it's a little hot, but like I do love the feeling of being in any building in San Antonio in July because it's 68 degrees inside that building, and then you walk outside and it's like 105, and that warmth that it just covers you, like just
it hugs you.
Yeah. That's why we live in South Texas. This one right here, he's stray dogs and dump dogs. I hate it. I don't see a lot of stray dogs and everything, but maybe it's different sides of towns and stuff like that, different parts of town. I don't know if you see a lot of stray dogs. Well, I
think they're getting better. I think sometimes when we're showing properties in the hood or showing properties in up-and-coming areas, we'll see them more.
Yeah, I went and showed one in Denver Heights, and I remember there was like a pit bull like sitting there just looking at me, and I'm like, God. It's like, but we got out and we looked at me and my dad. But I was going to make something that's like, this is a great time, like, the animal defense leagues and things like that. We just got a dog. We'd gotten a dog from an adoption that we did, and unfortunately it was sick when we got him. And then we just got another dog, and we got him from the animal defense league, and the best. So I am all about not spending thousands of dollars on dogs. And so like if you are looking for a dog, go to the animal defense league, go to a shelter, adopt these dogs. The one that we just got, it had literally is about a year old and it went from a kill shelter to a no kill shelter, and it's been there its whole life. Like it's been for almost a year. It's been sitting in a cage. It's all it's known. It's like, and it's such a hyper dog.
Because it's been cooped up for a year.
Also the type of dog.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a mutt. But it's got like a dark face and brown.
Was it a little dog?
No, it's probably about 30, 45 pounds. It's a medium big dog. It's a medium sized dog, but it looks like a greyhound as far as like it's got a real barrel chested and then comes real narrow into the back hips and everything. But it's got the floppiest ears, and it's got a black muzzle. So I think it has like German Shepherd in it too. So if I want to do a DNA.
Is it German Shepherds that have the black tongues?
No, Chow Chows.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's another thing is like if you live in South Texas, don't get a husky. Like these dogs don't need like whenever time I see a person that has a husky, like these are winter dogs. These are cold weather dogs.
I mean, I think if you're gonna keep your house cool enough, you're gonna keep them inside.
They need to be outside.
I've seen some people with happy huskies. Like I'm not gonna go too far into that, but I do think the Animal Defense League needs to make it less expensive to adopt dogs.
Well, the dog that we just got, I think I already talked about it, but it was the Subaru sponsored dog. So we got it. So the Subaru paid for it. So it's only like cool. $150, $170, I think, like that, if you pay for all the vaccinations and everything like that. But yes, there are programs and everything to help make it more.
Hey, so I'm gonna just throw this out there. If you're thinking about buying or selling a house in San Antonio, and you want to adopt a dog, and you buy or sell with us, we'll sponsor for you to get a dog from the Animal Defense League.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's written, set in stone. We can't go back.
It's on video.
No take backs.
Yep.
Let's see what this one says. I disagree with, to an extent, I disagree with this one. This one says, this is one of the biggest issues that San Antonio has had to deal with, and I think it has a lot to do with education. Companies don't really come to San Antonio with technical jobs and big offices. They bring call centers and warehousing. High-paying jobs go to Houston, Dallas, and now Austin. I think that we've talked about this quite a bit about how that's not true. And like we've got Texas A&M, San Antonio. That's here in San Antonio. You got UTSA, Go Runners, that are constantly adding more colleges to their programs, and everything, and putting students downtown. We've got lots of industries, the healthcare industry that are bringing jobs to San Antonio. The tech industry is bringing. So I would downvote this.
This was written 2 years ago, so things have changed in the past couple years. So I think we're getting more and more technical jobs. Mm-hmm. But I mean, for a long time, if you go back and look at the companies that have been established here for a long time, a lot more are labor based. Mm-hmm. So I can see that too. And I would say that even goes back to highway ladders. So people that are contractors working construction, doing things like that, those are the ones usually traveling with ladders. Like I know I don't take my ladder from home anywhere. I usually leave it at home. And so, I mean, maybe that falls into that case.
Hopefully you don't have a trailer hitch on the back of your truck too.
No, I don't have a trailer.
Good. Anyway, yeah. So I agree. It's probably a couple years old, but he even talks about like
not having big universities like UT, Austin, Rice.
But like what UT Health Science Center and what UT San Antonio, and like A&M. I'm really curious what happens more with A&M, just because Governor Abbott had put out a call to all the universities to really invest in space programs and different types of things in space research, and A&M is really diving into that. So I disagree with this guy, but let's the next one.
So this one's a good one. Unless you're very centrally located, you'll be driving everywhere. People complain about the driving in every major city. I get that, but I've never had so many close calls as I've had in the last 3 years of driving here. Drivers blow through stop signs, red lights on the regular. I can either confirm or deny that I might be a guilty party. I've never gotten a ticket, so maybe I'm not a guilty party. But
you're not guilty. Might be suspect or sus.
So basically, you got to be very vigilant of people changing lanes. I mean, I've been hit a few times. You've been hit. But I think that's anywhere. You got to be vigilant. Like when I learned how to drive, my parents taught me, you don't have to worry about yourself so much. You have to watch everybody else.
Yeah, no one's defensive driving anymore. It's like it. Nobody is also, and it's the same thing. And then we're getting really into the driving side of it. But like the way that we merge into all, not just with yield signs, like so, like the 281 going from 410 to 281 north, where you got both 281, 410 west and south merging together, and everybody wants to nobody wants to let anybody in. But like the whole idea behind that concept is to zipper like 1, 1, 1, 1, and just if everybody just spaces out a little bit, but. We've got this feeling that we have to be at the front of the line for everything. That's the same kind of mindset that buys up all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So this next one, I'm going to skip this one. This one just talked about
allergies.
We all know we have bad allergies. we have all the mountain cedar trees. It all blows down.
But you
from
know
the
what
hill
else they
country.
have? They have medicine, which helps with the allergies.
Yeah.
I suffer from mountain cedar worse than anybody because I'm narcissistic that way. But the a little bit of Zyrtec and Flonase were good. Is it grungy city?
Yeah.
I don't think it's grungy at all.
I don't think so either. It just says the fact that it's been so dry and all the storm drains and creek beds are just full of trash. I mean, I think that's kind of any major city is going to have different areas that...
Especially in the ditch areas and the drainage runoff areas.
Well, where that stuff runs to when it flows down. Like, if there's trash on the street, it all goes to that one spot and, like, travels down.
People think things like that magically disappear, and they don't realize, like, oh, that's why we pay property taxes.
Yeah.
That's why we pay sales tax.
That's why we volunteer and help clean up.
That's why we volunteer. Well, I'll pay my taxes. I don't really want
Yeah. So this is a really good one. So Suspicious Tackle 28 said... The tacos are too good, and you'll get fat.
I can. Let's see what his replies are. Hold on a second.
So he had 7 replies. 10 years and 30 pounds heavier. What can I say? I gained 50 pounds in 2 years. This is the truth. Somebody said preach. Somebody said I too curse the water supply that makes the fluffiest flour tortillas in the world.
They got the best flour.
Oh, they're so good.
It's so good.
But now we have the park systems and things like that have been introduced probably since this was written.
Yeah.
So we have a way to burn it off. Yeah.
80 miles.
Yeah. So the next one says, you think it's affordable? I'd say for now. I'm an SA native that was living in Austin for several years. First mistake. Then came back to San Antonio after I couldn't afford my apartment in Austin, but the rent jumped too high in SA. Anyway, I got lucky, found a really good place in Austin. Maybe the affordability in San Antonio is good, but I think it's very much temporary, and affordability is going to go to poop real soon.
I think that is a pessimist that just isn't happy.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say poisoned pizza. I'm glad you're back in Austin.
Did he go back?
We don't need this type of negativity.
Oh, he said he came back to San Antonio.
Yeah, but he said he found a place in Austin.
No, he couldn't afford his place in Austin.
Yeah, I said I couldn't afford my place in Austin, and I got lucky. I found a really good place in Austin.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Go back to Austin.
Yeah. So SA is a poor city with mostly poor folks living in it. There's little economic opportunity.
And again, this is a couple years ago, but some of these mentalities are from a decade ago, though. Honestly, because like I don't like we haven't changed that much in the last 2 years and everything, but some of these thought processes and things like that are from like in the past. Like we weren't like other than Rackspace and as they slowly went down, like we weren't a huge tech city and stuff like that, but we have like it's growing again, and we've got a lot of areas that are growing at this point.
Yeah. So I don't think San Antonio is necessarily a poor city. I think there's certain zip codes with less income and things like that. But I definitely think there's a lot of opportunity out there for people that look for it.
Our median household income is the same as across is comparable to the national average, and I would say our cost of living is less than the national average.
No, absolutely. So this is a good one. Traveling in San Antonio is not bike friendly or people friendly.
I don't know about the people friendly.
I don't know about people friendly, but I definitely can understand bike friendly. But they're getting better. They're getting the bike lanes. They're doing things like that. I'm not gonna lie, like I almost hit 2 people on bikes this weekend.
You're just,
but I'm gonna just keep it real with you.
You're self-reporting on being the worst driver in San Antonio. You're talking about how great San Antonio drivers are and how bad Houston is and everything. And all I've heard about, okay, you almost hit a couple of bikers, you run through red lights. Like, what else? Why are we so much better of a driver?
So what's that song? It's me, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah, but Houston drivers are way worse than me. I really learned how to drive. Like I totaled like 4 cars before I graduated high school, but after that, like I went on a pretty good run.
Dude, I had so many tickets. I've always been a fast driver.
Yeah.
I like fast cars. Song reference. The chain food is terrible. The local food is tasty, but not very healthy. Well, the not very healthy parts.
I think that's changed in the past couple of years. I'll say that.
You know what? And it's funny. Like the chain food is adequate. Like I think some of like our local chains and stuff like that. I think are really really good. And everything. Similar. It's very similar and everything like that. But I think that like as far as our foodie go-to kind of thing is really kind of
Yeah. No, for sure. So this one made me want to fight this person. The number of stupidly large trucks is far greater than the number of people that have a reasonable use for them. And I just got to say this, from dust, mind your business. I have my truck. I have a little lift on it. That's what I like.
Did you put a lift on it or did you level it?
I leveled it.
Yeah, that's
put some bigger tires, things like. I mean,
it's a 4-wheel drive. That's the best thing to do. So you just level it out. Well,
yeah, but mind your business, bro.
Mind your business. But at the same time, I will piggyback and I will die on the hill that if you have not hauled a trailer in the last month, take the hitch off your truck and put it somewhere else.
So I will say, since you made that post complaining about trucks, I do try not to back up so far.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You've changed one person.
That means I've changed.
Hopefully some other people.
That means I've changed the world.
So you'll never experience 4 real seasons. Summer lasts for like 8 months. Agree.
They always talk about the best summers of your life, right? They don't ever talk the best winters of your life, the best falls of your life. They don't make the movies of the boys of fall or the boys of spring. They make the boys of summer, right? So like, that's a positive. If we have an 8 months worth of summer, we have 8. That's the best time of year.
Are you mad because you can go outside and there's no snow?
It means you only have to go to school 4 months a year.
Go back to Minnesota.
Go back to Minnesota. Okay then. See.
Most posts here break down one thing: the people.
I don't want to.
Yeah, we're not going to dive into that. I don't think the people are bad. I think we're a big melting pot of people from all over the place.
It's a military city.
And for the most part, San Antonio is a pretty friendly city compared to a lot of other places I've been. Hot weather. People saying that it's not clean. So it's not the dirtiest places, but it's not super clean.
And this is of Texas too, like not having. It's kind of affordable. It's nice having no income tax. But when you factor in additional costs like property taxes and car insurance and stuff like that, that's true. That's what people don't realize. But I will say that not having an income tax is a big difference because a lot of those states that do have income tax, they still have property tax and things like that. They're still paying sales tax. They're paying all these other taxes that they're complaining about. I did see that one of the things that, in addition to us changing in Texas, they've raised the homestead exemption to $100,000. Which is great. So, like, if you have a $300,000 home, which is over half the homes in San Antonio,
about the median price range,
exactly. So, or $300,000. So, like, you're getting at least a third of your tax is abated, not abated, but like, abated.
Yeah.
For your homestead, but also if you're running a daycare or school or something like that. The state of Texas is now going to they're going to exempt them from all property taxes, which was
pretty cool. That just passed.
So that's pretty cool stuff too. So like it goes. It's not that it's kind of affordable in today's world where the world isn't affordable. San Antonio is as affordable as you can get.
So this one, they talked a little bit about the good. I know we're talking about some of the bad stuff people were talking about, but they said it's a good large city. We have a lot of niche food. You're only a few hours away from the beach.
That's true.
If you want to take a day trip or Austin or there's other little cities.
What does that say right there?
Car accidents is extremely high.
I think that's because we have bad drivers.
Yeah, so that's kind of went down. But, I would like to see a list of another city.
No, I'm just kidding.
where people aren't complaining about the drivers. I think people are bad drivers everywhere, and there's going to be a complaint everywhere.
And that has to go back to like distracted drivers and stuff like that. And it's not even distracted because they're looking at something else. It's like their minds just aren't even paying attention. Like how often do you get from point A to point B and like half of that time you're like, ooh, I don't remember making those turns. So this
one says, we talk a lot about this on the podcast, so maybe they're onto something. It says because the town has so little to offer. I don't agree with that part. People live through the basketball team. Lots of folks have made the Spurs their entire identity.
Hey,
I could see that.
Well, I would say that of the male population in San Antonio, a good half of them have their identity as being Cowboys fans, and then the other half is Spurs fans, and then there's a big little overlap that think they're both.
That's the best type of people.
I know that's what you think. No. Especially for the Spurs. Like I think it's if you're gonna live vicariously through anybody, like the Spurs are a good team to live through.
It's also a town where mom and pop restaurants fail, and Olive Garden is always on a wait list for a table.
That's not true.
Olive Garden does always have a wait list, though.
Only bad mom and pop restaurants fail, though.
Yeah, but that's any business. Bad businesses fail.
And some bad businesses, like there's a restaurant that's about to open up a second location. I'm not going to name, and it's like it's so bad. Like its type of food, it's like I have no idea why people still go to that place.
So being from a much larger metropolitan area, I think San Antonio is way better for mom and pop restaurants and bars. Where I'm from, these billionaires create the bar scene to look like mom and pop spots, but it's really becomes very clear very quickly that no true soul in that place. I love San Antonio's hole-in-the-wall locations all over the place. My favorite thing about living here. So I think we have a good population of mom and pop type restaurants and whatnot.
Yeah, and again, I think we get a good mix because you go out to like the Rim, and you've got like the Rustic and General Public, and these are restaurants that are. They've got them right by the downtown Dallas, downtown Houston. They've got them everywhere, and they're really great restaurants and the great happy hours and stuff and everything. But like we do, like right next to it, we have La Panaderia right across the street, which is a great local restaurant.
Somebody said one of the bad things about San Antonio is everybody moving here. It's probably a local person saying that. Traffic and road rage.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes into place. That just goes on. I mean, people getting mad about bad drivers.
I mean, you must spend too much time on the road. Like everybody's experienced you, it seems like, on the road.
Let's see. My opinion, the worst food scene. I'll go to Austin. The coffee quality. First of all, ain't no way Austin has better tacos than San Antonio. I'm getting a little defensive with this. But, I mean, I feel like if you're not looking for the right places, or if you don't know where to look for the places, you're not going to find them. So almost every time before we decide to go out to eat and we're looking where we're going to eat, I'm always on Google looking for a place. So maybe some of these mom and pop restaurants could do better posting that they're on Google.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that that's one of the you know that guy Keith Lee from TikTok that does the food reviews. That one of the things that I really appreciate about what he does is like when he goes into a new city, he asks not for like the restaurants that are doing well.
Ask for the struggling ones.
He's like, what's the best restaurant that you know of that it needs help in marketing, right? And then like he goes there to see how those are, and if they're great, then like really bump them up. And a lot of times, it's like in the same regard as like being real estate, like we have to get into marketing so much, but like that's not necessarily our natural thing. And if you're a cook and you're a chef, and now you're expected to be a TikTok star also, so that you can get your customers in there, it's hard.
Number one rule of any business is client acquisition.
It's the hardest thing.
It's the hardest thing, and it's the one thing that'll make you successful or not successful.
Absolutely.
You can have the best product in the world, and if you don't have anybody to consume that product,
have you seen that?
you don't have a business.
Have you seen that guy that's he manufactures watches, and you think he'd be doing better because I'd remember the name of the brand, but he gives away a free watch, and what he does is like he holds up a sign and says "Find me," and he goes live on TikTok or whatever, and then people look at the things around him, and whoever is the first person, usually takes like 15 minutes or so, first person to find him and come up to him. So he generates this interest in coming to his page.
Yeah.
Because what if he goes live and he's in my area and I can get a free watch and everything? It's like, and it's been, I mean, I could care less about the watches to be honest, but like I love watching businesses like that, how they grow.
Yeah, so let's do just a couple more. I've never been catcalled more than I have in SA.
I get catcalled all the time. I can't help it.
I'm the one calling you. Let's see.
Now I kind of like this one. This right here. Hope you don't like live music because aside from the occasional stadium tour that hits the Alamo Dome or AT&T Center, you're gonna have to drive to Austin or Houston for anybody did. And that's pretty true.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you have our dance halls and stuff like that, but we don't have like Like it used to be down on St. Mary's Strip back in the rock days and things like that. There used to be a lot of live music and stuff.
Well, I think you get some of the country stuff up, and that there's a little place up in Helotes.
Florence Country Store. But that's been, like I said, that's a dance hall that's been around forever and stuff like that.
But I mean, it's very
and that's
few of it.
Way out there in Helotes.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, my kids go out there for that. But that's usually a tour. Like they went and saw Parker McCullum out there. We saw, I went out there to see, what's this guy? Robert Earl Keen, which is one of the greatest ever.
I think this is a good one. I think it's changing though, but despite a pretty large city, we aren't considered a big market. Mm-hmm. So that means all sorts of things from concerts.
Yep. And that's changing. We've talked about this a bit, especially in the comedy scene.
Yeah, there's more and more stuff coming. But this person said they have to go to Houston or Austin over San Antonio, and then they have to pay an extra $200 for a plane ticket to make a jump to a hub. But I think that's changing.
Again, this was 2 years ago, and just in this last 6 months, I saw Bart Kreischer and Tom Segura, two of the biggest comics in today at the Frost Center.
Yeah, so crime between strangers is pretty low for a metro our size. According to Kyle Wright, domestic violence and car thefts are high, but as long as you're not picking fights at 2 a.m. outside of a bar, it's pretty safe.
Or parking at Ingram Park Mall.
Everything is spread out. So, yeah, I mean, San Antonio is a spread out city, just like a lot of the other cities. But what I think was a little bit different, though, and I might be totally wrong on this, but Houston is built out into like villages. Like if you look at their map, it's built out to villages like Rice Village and the different ones like that. And so everybody kind of lives within their village and everything is kind of right there in there. I think San Antonio isn't as dense with certain stores and restaurants and things like that. So we kind of have to travel everywhere to get to the certain things that we want to do.
I think so. We have where like everybody comes to the center. You know what I mean? It's like the downtown has become a focal point and everything.
But then it kind of started going away from that. But I think it's coming back now as soon as we get the Spurs back.
Especially if they put them downtown. And again, like that Yanaguana Garden thing, they got the water shooting out. Like if you go down there in any weekend, place is packed. And those are locals. That's not we're not tourists down there. So it's a great little area.
Ridiculously mapped out highways, the drivers, and outdated old filling compared to other big cities that have been around just as long as us. San Antonio needs to modernize. I can see that.
Well,
I think we're getting there.
We're getting there. As they expand out some of our major thoroughfares and stuff like that, traffic will get a little bit better. But our traffic is nothing compared to other cities. Quality's bad, but the time.
Yeah. Public transit sucks.
It does.
I definitely think there's improvement on there.
But they've been trying to do that for 30, 40 years. It's never going to happen. Again, that goes back to what we just talked about. It's such a spread out city. Like, it's just not feasible to do, like, mass transit.
Yeah. Downside is we only have one electric company here in San Antonio, true San Antonio.
Yeah.
Which is CPS. So we can't shop around different rates.
Other cities get much better utility prices.
In Rockport, I mean, we have that house down there in Rockport, and it's a smaller house than ours, but it's rarely over $100.
That's crazy. Let's see. Well, this is lastly. Let's do this lastly. What I see.
So Robot and Zombie Killer said CPS. We just went over that.
They're stupid. Never mind. Let's see. The drivers. It's really the drivers. I think okay, so we're going to, today on All Things San Antonio, we have uncovered the number one worst thing about San Antonio, and that is Brad the driver.
It's me. And I'll say, I haven't had a ticket in 7 years. So the last time I got a ticket was in Port Aransas. We talked about that a few episodes ago. But yeah, I haven't had a ticket in quite a while. I'm really not that bad of a driver.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
All right.
As long as people stay out of my way.
Stay out of Brad's way. I'll stay out of your way.
Yeah. And this is the last one. So Super Sheena said, for some odd reason, a lot of people here are afraid to drive and didn't get a license well into their 20s. It's so weird.
Hey,
maybe that's the problem.
My son Hagen didn't get his license till he was 18.
Yeah. So our DPS system kind of sucks.
But that was because he didn't want a license. He was the oldest, and he knew that he was going to have to be a chauffeur. And he was like, I don't feel like driving.
Yeah. Well, like DPS, you're probably months out. You book the thing, the appointment. And then I've never been to the DPS to where I didn't have to go back because there was some magical piece of paper or
I
something
think it's
else they
because he
wanted.
failed the exam and had to take it again. His magical paper was he had to pass the test because
First
he's a
of
bad
all-
driver.
First of all, I didn't have to take the test. I did the parent-taught driver's ed.
Is why he's such a bad driver.
So,
All right, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yep.
Push the button. Tell your friends. Tell us what you think. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We'd love to go through some comments and kind of respond to you guys too as well. So we have got one request to talk about potholes. There is one recurring pothole that I always know on 410. You always got to be in the far left lane right there before you get to Blanco.
So potholes, my wife is actually applying to work for the city to be the pothole discovery person. For some reason, it doesn't matter. She'll find them.
Let's go.
Let's go. See y'all later. Hit that like and subscribe. See y'all next week.